mamas, welcome back to my channel. Okay, so this one is a little bit of a new one for me. I've never shared a full video of me cleaning. I've done shorts and stuff, but I haven't done an actual full video of me cleaning an area of my home. So, I don't know, I figured as a stay-at-home mom to 4 kiddos, this is definitely something that I want to kind of showcase a little bit because, it's my reality. So, yeah. So before we fully dive into the video, I feel like I need to preface a few things. So first of all, I am just focusing on my kids' rooms and their clothes, I guess, for the most part. And the reason why is because I have literally, I don't know, you guys, I've just been avoiding doing their clothes and cleaning up their rooms. I think part of it is because they do stay upstairs and my room is downstairs, and my 2 oldest kiddos are becoming more and more independent, which I don't know, it's nice. It really is. Like, I love seeing that they're coming into themselves and really figuring out how to do things on their own and all of that. But I don't know, part of it is a little bitter as well because they don't need me quite as much, and I'm starting to definitely feel that. But one area that I feel like as of right now, will definitely still need a little extra help is with their clothes, their laundry. Like, I can wash them. They know how to fold them, like they actually know how to fold them and they know how to put them away. But every once in a while, I like to go through everything and just give it a good organizing and all of that. But in this particular case, just to be completely open and honest with you guys, I got really backed up on laundry. I don't know if there's anyone else out there. Well, I'm sure there are. I've seen a ton of memes and all of the things, but laundry for me is just like the bane of my existence. When it was just me as a single person, even as newly married, I could handle it, but with 4 kids that are all so young, it's so hard to keep up with. And so I got to a point to where I hated going in my laundry room. I hated going upstairs. There were certain rooms, like our guest bathroom, which the kiddos use more often than not. I hate going in that room. I got to a point, you guys, I avoided, I hate, our garage, literally everything. And it's not even because our house is a wreck. It's just any slight disorganization or just slight chaos. It just undoes me, I don't know. I literally come undone. I literally, every stitch that keeps me together just completely comes undone when my house gets like this. But then it's weird because I know I can't function, but I can't quite get myself together enough to fix it. I don't know if I was technically depressed or whatever the case was, but I was just in such a low place where I didn't want to go anywhere in my house except for in my room and in my living room and in my kitchen, because those were, for the most part, safe spaces. But yeah, so at some point I put my big girl pants on and I was like, listen, I just need to get it done, and this just so happens to be that day. So I want to say I tackled about 5 or 6 baskets full, overflowing baskets of laundry. And again, these are just the kids' clothes. So yeah, this is me going step by step, hanging, trying to organize by shirts and sweaters and jeans and color coordinate and all the things that I know won't last a good week to 2 weeks with, them putting away their clothes at some point. But I still, I've decided today was the day that I just needed to get it done. So, yeah, I am going to let you guys enjoy a little bit more of the video, but I am going to pop in every once in a while just to share with you some things and thoughts about my home. And, yeah. Now, I don't want to make it seem like I hate my home, because that is just not the case at all. Like, I love my home. There's so many things and aspects of my home that bring me joy, and I do want to talk to you guys about that. I want to share those things with you, but I need to start off with saying, like, our home was a blessing. Like, it was 1,000% from God, because we were not the picture perfect example of like home buyers. Like, we, at the time when we bought our home, we did not have our stuff together. We were still figuring out, we were renting a different home at the time, and when we went to even look at houses, we were just trying to get an idea. We weren't even like in the mindset of like, hey, let's go ahead and start applying for homes and all of that. But we partnered up with a realtor, which at the end of the whole process we weren't super thrilled with, but he did show us the builder that ended up being our lender for the home as well. And so when I tell you guys, the process of how we got into our house was nothing short but a gift from God, because we just weren't in that mindset, even in the slightest, of like at that moment being able to afford and put down payments on and all of the things. Like, we weren't in that mindset yet. So the fact that it happened the way that it happened as quickly as it did was solely straight from God. But all of that to say, I think my issue with why the house got to this point, which again, I'm not even showing you the full aspect of everything. I'm just showing you the kids' rooms and their clothes or whatever, but it felt more chaotic than it probably actually was, to be completely honest. Like, downstairs looked way better than upstairs, and honestly, Genesis room, this room right here, was by far the worst. But I think I was just in like a mental space, right? But the other part of it is we've been living in our home for 2 years at this point. At the end, going into summer, it'll be 3 years that we've been living in this home, and as of right now, we haven't really done a whole lot of stuff to make it our own. And I think that's kind of part of the issue, is that we've just kind of like, each room just feels like I don't know what the word is. It's just not personalized. It's just, what the house came with, how it looked when we first moved in. And so I think that's one thing that I do want to really start focusing on, especially as summer gets here, moving into year 3 of us living in our home, is personalizing each of these rooms. And so that is something that I want to share with you guys as we get through that. I already have filmed me updating the guest bathroom downstairs, so I'm excited to share that with you guys. But the next best thing that I definitely want to start doing is updating the kids' rooms. Like, my husband and I, we can wait, but the kiddos, we want them to love their space and, be comfortable in their rooms and all of that. That being said, we do live in a 4-bedroom house, and 3 of the bedrooms are upstairs, and we have 4 kids, right? And so part of my dilemma is trying to figure out how to, maneuver the rooms, like rearrange the rooms, so that 1, we can maximize the spaces, and 2, so that it feels comfy and cozy and all the things, right? So part of that is this room. So this room is Genesis' room, and of course, her being the only girl, she ended up having the other suite. So this room does have the bathroom connected to it. Yes, she's spoiled rotten, I know, but it fit for a little bit, but at the time we hadn't had a manual yet, which is baby. We hadn't had him yet, and so and we surely didn't have him like in his own room or whatever. So now that he is at a place where he's not in mom and dad's room anymore, he's actually in the room with my oldest son, Josiah. We are kind of getting in that space mentally of like, okay, well, how do we start? How do we rearrange the rooms to make sure that everyone is comfortable and they feel like they have their own space and all the things. And I guess that's one thing that you guys can help me with, is kind of give me some ideas of things that I can do to their rooms to kind of spruce them up and make them feel very much at home. that was when my husband and I first got married and we're talking about kids and all the things. That was one thing I told him was a non-negotiable for me was having a home and us staying in that home. I think especially because growing up I moved around quite a bit, and so the stability of having like that childhood home that they could always come back to, or whatever the case was really important to me. And so now here's the thing, because Genesis has the upstairs suite, I am thinking about moving all of the boys into that room because it is a very large room. It's got very high ceilings and it has 2 closets in addition to the bathroom being attached, right? So I'm thinking of putting a bunk bed, but the one that has like 3 spots, so like it's a bunk bed and then attached like kind of like in an L shape, it's another bunk, and then like an open space underneath that second bunk. I kind of want to do that in Genesis room, and ideally I would like to paint the walls, at least 3 of the walls, and put wallpaper on as like a accent wall on the 4th wall. Now here's one thing that I did not enjoy about the building process with this particular builder, which I'm not going to name, but one thing I didn't like was that they didn't give us the option to upgrade our paint. Like even if we paid the extra or whatever, they just didn't want to do it. Like I actually had a neighbor that was like, yeah, she even offered to like buy the paint before they even started putting up the sheetrock or whatever it's called. But like before they started putting up the walls and all of the things, she even offered to like buy the paint and just have the painters like paint, whatever, and they just wouldn't do it. And that's crazy to me because the in all of the rooms except for the actually the bathrooms have the same paint. I think all of the rooms except for the kitchen, I guess maybe, have the flat paint. And when I tell you guys, like, our kids, you've probably seen throughout this whole video and you're probably judging me, which is fine, but our kids have like written on almost every single wall in this house. And I'm not the kind of person where I'm like gonna get upset at them about it because they're kids. My husband, that's like one of his biggest pet peeves. So we've like gone through many days where we've tried to figure out what to do, because you can't, like, on flat paint, you can't just like scrub it off, so here they are writing all over these walls. Like, how do they keep getting these crayons upstairs? Like, it's so frustrating. But that's one of the things that I definitely want to do is I want to repaint all of their rooms, probably a specific color. Like Genesis loves purple, so when she moves into whatever the other room is, I'm going to paint some form or fashion of a pink and purple because she's very girly like that. The boys, they love the blues and the greens and the reds, so I'm going to have to figure that out. But I'm definitely going to go over the paint with I think it's like either eggshell or like whatever the glossy, whatever it is, to where it's easy to clean. Because as of right now, I can sit here and try to scrub away at this crayon and all it's going to do is like it's just going to strip it bare. And so that looks worse in my opinion than the crayon. So yes, painting with some type of gloss to where the paint is easily cleaned, as well as one of the walls being a wallpaper, is something I'm very much looking forward to doing to each of the rooms. I think the second thing that I really want to do in each of the rooms is I want to customize the closets. As of right now, all of the kiddos have the plastic bins and whatever. And those are fine, and I'm not knocking anybody that uses those because we're all in a different stages of our lives, and this is just one of those stages where I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money on the nicer dressers, knowing that I wanted all of their clothes and stuff to go in the closets. So I specifically chose to use the plastic bins until we were at a place where we could update the closets to do custom closets. And the DIY girly in me also wants to do the closet herself. So that's the other thing, is I kind of need to gather the tools and material in order to do that, because I really want to try doing it myself. I know that that's probably not something you want to give a try, but everyone starts somewhere with their hobbies, and this is just one of those things that I really enjoy doing. So Definitely updating those closets, definitely updating the walls, definitely changing out these blinds because they've destroyed those as well. It's just been great. We've been having a blast over here. And by we, I definitely mean the kiddos, because the husband and I are over here pulling our hair out, trying to figure out ways to keep it looking neat. Like, I get it, the house is lived in, and especially with me being a stay-at-home mom and the kids being homeschooled, like, it's lived in, and I get that, but also, like, the hostess and me and, like, all of the things, I also just like for it to be neat and organized, and yeah, so now I want to end this video talking about all the amazing things God has blessed us with when it comes to this home, because again, I don't want to make it seem like I am focusing on negative things. I know I've been blessed, you guys. I know that this has been the biggest gift, one of the biggest gifts that God could have ever given us in this season of our life. So, one thing that I love about our home is the fact that we have multiple bedrooms where the kids can pick and choose, really, if they wanted to, which rooms they want it to be in. I know essentially, at least two of them would, have to share, but I grew up, sharing rooms with my siblings, and honestly, I loved it when we shared rooms versus when we all had our own separate space. I know that's debatable, but that was just one of the things that I really loved growing up with my siblings. But I do love that we have multiple rooms that they can choose from. I love the size of the rooms and how high the ceilings are in almost all of the rooms. I really love that. I also very much love our kitchen and our open space concept like that. I love that. Like our school room, our music room, which is pretty much the same space because there's not a wall dividing it, but it would have been two spaces if it did have that wall, which one of these days I might have to do a home tour with you guys so you can see our home. But yeah, that's definitely one thing that I love. I think one of the biggest things that I loved, both my husband and I, when we were looking at this house, was how much land we have. So we're on a little less than an acre, and I know that that's probably nothing to people that live on like 5-10 acres, but for us, hopping around from apartment to apartment and then finally renting a house, but it being so close to your neighbor that you could actually reach out of your window and touch your neighbor's house, like that's how close we were, right? Like this, having this little acre has been such a blessing, and I'm excited for all the things that we plan on doing even with that. But all of the glory goes to the Most High, you guys. Like, I really want to take a second and highlight that. Like, the Lord, my protector, my safe space, my provider, my comfort, my peace when my house is chaotic, like all of those things, He gets all of the glory, because none of these good things would be without Him. And I just pray that if you were like me, that the Lord will just free you from that mental captivity and help you find the joy in your home again.